everyone. My name is Dr. Manisha Gupta. I am assistant professor at NIT College, Greater Noida in MBA department, and today we are going to start our first lecture of the first unit of the business research method. And in this lecture we are going to cover the topic, the meaning of the research, the definition of the research, importance of research and the types of the research. So we will start our session by understanding that what the business research method is. If you talk about the business, so what is the business? Business is any organization or enterprises which involve in a certain type of the commercial activity. Either they are buying or selling, either they are buying or the selling of the certain type of the goods and the services and generating profit through it. And when we talk about the method means the certain type of the procedure or systematic way to gain some information, or it is a kind of the process through which we achieve what we want to achieve. Now we come to the term of the research. The research, the literal meaning of the research is search again, means you are searching for the knowledge, you are searching for the information, you are searching for the alternative course of action. The research is a systematic inquiry to describe, explain, predict and control the observed phenomena. It means it is a systematic activity and it is a planned activity to gain information, to describe it, to explain what is happening and also to predict what will happen next, and control the observed phenomena means you are controlling, when you are doing a research, you are controlling the environment so that you can better understand what are the variables performing and how they are affecting each other. The research is a systemized effort to gain knowledge, and it is a process of the collecting, evaluating and interpreting information to answer a question. By this statement, it is very clear that the research is basic to the gain knowledge. And how we gain knowledge? We gain knowledge by the process where we collected data. Whatever the data collect, we are going to evaluate and interpret information from it, and whatever the research question or objective we have taken in the start, we are going to answer it by research method. So in this subject, the business research method, so I would like to discuss why we are studying the business research method in MBA. It is a huge importance of this subject. If you talk about the companies nowadays, the companies are heavily invested in the research and development. Why do they invest heavily in the research and development? Because if you see the current environment, business environment, the things are changing continuously. If you talk about the technology, after every few years there is a major change in the technology. If you take an example of your mobile phone is not same as which you are using 10 years back. It has changed substantially, and also the customer needs and wants are also changing very rapidly. Their needs are changing, their income is changing, so their buying patterns are changing. The research is not only limited to the business, it has huge importance for the countries. If you see the developed countries are they invest heavily in the research and development. According to the World Bank data of 2018, the developed country invest more than 2% of their GDP in research and development. Take an example of the USA, UK, Japan, China, Germany. They invest more than 2% of their GDP. But at the same time, the country who was developing or the underdeveloped, they have invested less in the research and development. That's why they are technologically not doing so well, or they are not becoming very good in the technology. Even in our country, we invest only around 0.7% of the GDP in the research and development. So if we want to become the global leader, so we have to start invest heavily in the research and development. And research and development, first thing, what do they come in mind when you listen the term research? Like someone is wearing the white coat and they are doing the experiment in a lab. But research is not limited to that. When we talk about the research, it is not only limited to the scientific study. It has a huge implication in the social science studies also. Like if you talk about the business, the companies do market research to understand their customers, their need, wants, and at the same time they invest in the scientific research to develop the product according to the need of the customers. So, after this we will go to the definition of the research. Here we have taken the two definition of the research. The first definition is given by the Clifford Woody. The research comprise the defining and the redefining problems, formulating hypothesis or the suggested solution, collecting, organizing, evaluating data, making deduction and reaching to the conclusion to determine whether it is fit for the formulated hypothesis or not. It means the research starts with the defining the problem or the existing problem. You have to redefine your problem. After that you formulate the hypothesis. What is a hypothesis? Hypothesis is a statement which we take in the starting of our research, like if we take the two variables. So, in the hypothesis statement we take the statement like how one variable is affecting the other, and for proving that we collect the data, we organize the data, evaluate the data and to make the conclusion of it, and after deriving the conclusion we find out that whether your hypothesis is correct or not. And we take the second definition, which is according to the sociologist Earl Robert Davies. The research is a systematic inquiry to describe, explain, predict, control the observed phenomena. It involves inductive and deductive method. So, here the Earl Robert is trying to say that the research is a systematic activity, is a systematic process which involve inquiring, explaining, predicting and also controlling your absorbed phenomena. And the meaning of the inductive and deductive method means it involves either creating or formulating certain type of the theories or the testing of the existing theories. So, after the definition of the research, we will move to our next topic, which is the importance of a research. Here I have taken only few importance of the research. So, the first importance of the research is research expand the knowledge base. Research, by doing the research you gain knowledge. Whatever the knowledge you have, even though you have the very deep understanding of the certain topic on the information, but at the time you don't know everything. By doing the research you will find out every time some new information. In that way you are increasing your knowledge base, you are increasing your knowledge, you are increasing your skills, you are updating yourself. Then the second importance is research help you to know what you are up against. It means what the problem you are facing. Suppose if you have business, then what your competitor are doing. When we do the competitors analysis, in that way we find out what the competitors are doing, how they are ahead of us, or also we learn from our competitors' mistakes so that we cannot repeat the same mistake what they have done. If you take the example of the medical science, some disease, in that case you identify the reason, you identify the symptoms, you identify the cause. When you identify these, you can make the medicine and vaccine to cure that disease or to overcome that problem. Next point is research introduced new idea. You involve in a research, you will get many opinions, you get more information, you are able to increase a new idea, or whatever the idea you have, you are able to test those idea. When you test those idea, you can improve your idea or get some new information or the new idea from it. Next is research encourage curiosity. In the research, the curiosity rewards you. Curiosity is rewarding the research and also the business. The curiosity is the key for the creativity and your analytical skill. If you are curious enough to make certain type of the new product, take an example in the today's business environment. Many MNC company promote entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurship is a mean that when the employees come up with a new idea for making certain type of the new product or the services, then the company fund him and empower him to do whatever he want to do. So in that way, it helps you to enhance your skill, it helps you to move upward in your organization also. Research builds the credibility. How it builds the credibility? The more and more you do the research, the more and more you get the information, what the business idea you want to implement, what type of the product you want to launch. More you get, more you do research on it. Like suppose you want to test that your product will be successful in the market or not. The many times the companies do the pilot study to understand the product will going to be successful or not, or if it has a certain shortcoming, so that they can rectify those shortcomings within a time. So it give you credibility, it give you confidence to enter in a market and say it loud whatever you want to say. Next is research increase the quality of the life. Definitely. What type of the research? In every single field around you, you can see and compare today's time with the 100 years back time, you can find out because of the invention, because of the discovery, our lives get better and better. Initially, from moving from one place to other place, if I take an example of the 10 year or 15 years back, you have to find auto, rickshaw, and nowadays what we do? We do the Ola, Uber, book a cab. So in that way, the research is improving our life. 100 years back, there are many simple diseases which do not have a cure or vaccine, and today's time we have a cure. So that is also the reason why the death rate around the world is substantially decreased even in our country also. Last point is research drive progress forward. Research is also helps you to move forward and move ahead. It helps you to grow, it helps you to know more. If you're the business, it helps you to capture new market, it helps you to find out the new market opportunity, it helps you to find the new type of the product which will satisfy the customer's need, or it helps you to make certain new types of the product. So it is always a progressive in nature. Now after this, I will go to the types of the research. That in the types of the research, I have divided the types of the research on the three bases. First is on the basis of the application. On the basis of the application, I have divided the research in pure research and applied research. And on the basis of the objective of the research, the research is divided into the explanatory research, descriptive research, and exploratory research. And again, we divide the research on the basis of the measurement or the data we use. In that way, we divide the research in the two parts: quantitative research and qualitative research, depend upon whatever the data you are going to use. Now we start with the first basis of the research, which is on the basis of the application. On the basis of the application, the research is pure research and applied research. The pure research is the experimental or the theoretical work undertaken to acquire new knowledge without looking for the long term benefits with the other than the advancement of the knowledge. The pure research is basically focused on the advancement of the knowledge and the gaining of the knowledge, creating new knowledge, finding new knowledge. It is a very raw form of the research. And at the same time, what is the applied research? The first of all, the pure research work as a basis for the applied research. The applied research is understand to solve the practical problem rather than to acquire knowledge, and it focus on the real world and the applications. It means if you see the pure research, the basic objective of the pure research is to gain knowledge, to know about the new thing, and it does not focus on the objectives, or rather if you say that the objective is very raw in the pure research. We did not take very strict or stringent objectives or the aim to do the pure research. It is very vast. It is a basic thing to identify the different variables in the system, how the variables are interacting in the system, how the other factors affect each other. Suppose if you do the take an example in very raw form, you will go for the market research. You did not go for the very specific objective. In that situation, we find out what are the other factors of the market, what are the forces of the market, and how they are interacting with each other, how one factor is affecting the other. Sometimes when we do the pure research, at that point of the time there is a new future application, but it focus on what we gain after that. It is not very specific to the objective. And at the same time, when you talk about the applied research, it is for the solving the real life problem. We do the applied research when we have any problem, any situation, and we do the applied research. Whatever the knowledge we gain through the pure research, we applied it in a different situation to solve our current problem. The pure research has a very broad base. Whatever the knowledge you gain, it is very broad. But in applied research, it is a very narrow base. After that, we move to the types of the research on the basics of the objective. With the what objective we start our research. In that, it is divided into the three parts: exploratory research, descriptive research, and explanatory research. So, exploratory research is basic about the exploring. Explore the little known issue. The researcher has an idea or observe something and they seek to understand more about it. Means it is dealing with the exploring of the certain new phenomena, defining new idea, and this type of the research is not very structured research. Exploratory research is not very structured research. It is basically for the finding the new ideas, new environment, or the new thing. In this type of the research, the researcher's skills are very important because it have to monitor every single event very carefully and it has to make a record of it. Then we move to the descriptive research. The descriptive research is describe what is happening, is more in detail and expand the initial understanding. In exploratory research, we get the basic information, what is happening, or exploring new things, exploring new idea. But in descriptive research, we are describing like what is happening in detail. We describe the characteristics of the person or the company or the situation. It will answer many questions that what is happening, when is happening, where is happening, and how is happening. It answers those type of the questions. Then we talk about the explanatory research. The explanatory research is connected the idea to understand the relationship between the different aspects of the issue and explain what is going on. The explanatory research is a deal with the cause and effect relationship. Explanatory research is also called as a causal research or analytical research. It is basically deal with the question why it is happening, why one factor is affecting other, why the element of the if we take an example of the market, why the one factor of the one market force is affecting the other market force, and how and what is the reason behind its effect. So these type of the question were answered in explanatory research. So we say again that in the exploratory research we explore the information. The basic objective is to explore a new horizon, new business, new idea. If suppose example, I take an example of this, that if you're entrepreneur, you try to find the new market, you do the exploratory research to find that what is the market condition, what type of the market is it, what are the characteristics of the market. In that you find the what is the customer needs, what is the customer desire, what is their purchasing power. So these type of the information you get from the exploratory research. But in descriptive research you deal with the what is happening, you describe the characteristics, phenomena, that the what phenomena is happening. If you take the example of the economy, then we see that whenever the in the international market the price of the crude oil is increased, why there is inflation in our country, and especially the inflation in the you say the food and vegetable industry, the prices is the prices increase automatically. So in descriptive research what is happening, how it is increasing the prices. So these type of the questions were answered in the descriptive research, and the explanatory research is basically cause and effect. If you see example, I take an example like if the prices is increased, it is very well known that when you increase the price, the sale of that product and the services are decreased. But if in some case by increasing the prices the sale of the product and the services are increasing, then you have to find out what are the reason behind it. So explanatory research gives you the answer of why it is happening. Now we deal with the last part, which is the type of the research on the basis of measurement. In this type there is a two type of the research, quantitative research and qualitative research. The quantitative research refers to the one that describe, infer and resolve problems using number. In quantitative research we deal with the number, we deal with the statistical calculation, and in the quantitative research is to inquire the process that helps the in-depth understanding of the problem or the issue in the natural setting. In the quantitative research you do the research in the natural environment, and it is an in-depth study where you find out the reason and you inquire it, you get involved in the process, you understand why it is happening, why certain things are happening, why one factor is affecting the other, what is the problem, why it is arises, and it happens in the natural setting or the setting in which it is actually happening. Then again the quantitative research emphasis is placed on the collection and the summary of the data. In this type of the research we emphasize on the collection of the data. We collect the data, we evaluate it, process it, and we after that we come to the conclusion which is purely based on the data analysis. But in the qualitative research it is a non-statistical research method and concerned with the quality or kinds. Basically it involves the non-statistical methods, means we are not using the data, we are not using the mathematical tools to getting to the conclusion. Then in the quantitative research, the main objective of the quantitative research is to develop and employ the mathematical model, theories, hypotheses pertaining to sum up with the some natural phenomena under study. The objective of the quantitative research to use a certain type of the mathematical tool, like in research, especially the social research, by proving a hypothesis you are using a correlation method or the regression method or the t-test method. So it is a type of the quantitative data, but in the qualitative data it is based on the word, feeling, emotion, sound and other non-numerical and unquantified element which cannot be analyzed by means of the mathematical techniques. Means the result which you are interpret, the information you take, which will be based on the words, feeling, emotion, sounds, and it is basically the non-numerical method. In a qualitative method, if you take an example, what are the method we use in the qualitative method, like the interview, observation, focused group. But when we deal with the quantitative research, it deals with the survey method, like they are collecting the data by using the questionnaire, and the questionnaire will be very structured and mostly the closed ended questionnaire. But in quantitative data, if you are using certain type of the questionnaire, it may not be the very structured, and it may not basically have, mostly the question will be the open ended questions. And in quantitative research, the sample size or the size of the data will be small, but sorry, in the quantitative research, the size of the data will be very large. You can evaluate the large amount of data at the same time, but in the quantitative research, because you are using the focused group to interview or the observation method, you may not able to evaluate the large amount of the data in similar time span which you use in quantitative method. So, for the this is all for the today's session, and by this I am ending today's session, and we will meet in the second session. This is all for the today. Thank you everyone, and we will see you soon in the another session.